Situated on the southern shore of the Absheron Peninsula, along the western shore of the Caspian Sea, Baku is the capital and commercial hub of Azerbaijan. Located 28 meters below sea level, it is the lowest lying capital city in the world. The Aero Express bus connects the airport directly to the square in front of Baku Central Railway Station, next to the 28th of May metro station. You have to first get Baku card, which is a rechargeable travel card from the vending machine just outside the exit gate. One-way ticket costs only 1.30 Azerbaijani mana, and the journey takes about 40 minutes. The territory of what is now Azerbaijan was ruled first by Caucasian Albania and later by various Persian empires. Until the 19th century, it remained part of Khazar Iran, but the Russo-Persian Wars forced the Khazar Empire to cede its Caucasian territories to the Russian Empire. After a century of living under Russian imperial rule, and later being influenced by European ideas of nationalism, Azerbaijanis formed their own national identity and national movements. Following the fall of the Tsarist government in Russia as a result of the October Revolution, the Caucasian peoples including Azerbaijanis formed a special committee, which was followed by a commissariat and finally, the independent Transcaucasian Democratic Federative Republic. The new federation lasted only 6 weeks before Georgia declared its independence from it. Armenia and Azerbaijan followed 2 days later, on the 28th of May 1918. The Azerbaijan Democratic Republic only lasted 23 months and collapsed in April 1920, after the Soviet invasion of Azerbaijan. The modern Republic of Azerbaijan proclaimed its independence on the 30th of August 1991, shortly before the dissolution of the Soviet Union. with the capacity of 2,500 people. Heydar Aliyev Palace is the main music venue of Baku. It was also known as Baku Palace, or Republic Palace, or Lenin Palace during the Soviet era. It was renamed after the death of Azerbaijani President Heydar Aliyev in 2003. Azerbaijan is one of the birthplaces of the oil industry. In 1846, the world's first oil well was drilled in Bibi Hebat suburb of Baku. The petroleum industry in Azerbaijan produced about 33 million tons of oil and 35 billion cubic meters of gas in 2022. Baku's oil industry was critical to early industrialization in late Imperial Russia and the early Soviet Union. 4 out of 5 Soviet aircraft, tanks, and trucks used in World War II ran on the fuel produced in Baku refineries, from oil extracted in the Baku oil fields. Built in the 1990s, the Bibi Hebat Mosque in Baku, Azerbaijan, is a recreation of the mosque with the same name, built in the 13th century by Shirvan Shah Farrukhzad II, which was completely destroyed by the Bolsheviks in 1934. It is sometimes known as the Mosque of Fatima, which is what Alexander Dumas called it when he described the mosque during his visit in the 1850s. The mosque includes the tomb of Okema Khanum, a descendant of the Islamic prophet Muhammad, and today is the spiritual center for the Muslims of the region, and one of the major monuments of Islamic architecture in Azerbaijan. situated at the Victory Park, standing 44 meters high, 22 meters wide, and adorned with 44 columns. The Victory Arch is the symbol of the 44-day patriotic war. The Hadar Aliyev Center is a 619,000 square feet building complex, designed by Zaha Hadid, and noted for its distinctive architecture and flowing curved style that eschews sharp angles. Extending on 8 floor levels, the center accommodates a 1,000-seat auditorium, temporary exhibition spaces, a conference center, workshops, and a museum. The building was nominated for awards in 2013 at both the World Architecture Festival and the Biennial Insight Festival. In 2014, the center won the Design Museum's Design of the Year award. Having seating capacity for 69,870 people, the Baku Olympic Stadium is the largest stadium in Azerbaijan. The Atashgah, often called the Temple of Eternal Fire, is a religious temple in Surukhani town, a suburb in Baku, Azerbaijan. The name Atashgah literally means home of fire. The name refers to the fact that the site is situated atop a now exhausted natural gas field, which once caused natural fires to spontaneously burn there. Atash is the Persian and Azerbaijani word for fire. Based on Iranian and Indian inscriptions, the temple was used as a Hindu, Sikh, and Zoroastrian place of worship. From immemorial times, this was a holy place of Zoroastrians who were fire worshippers. They attributed mystical significance to the inextinguishable fire, and came there to worship the relic. After the introduction of Islam, the Zoroastrian temple was destroyed. Many Zoroastrians migrated to India and continued their worship there. However, in the 15th to 17th centuries, the Hindus from India who came to Absheron with trading caravans began to make pilgrimages to Surukhani. The Indian merchants started to build the temple, and the earliest part is dated from 1713. The pentagonal complex, which has a courtyard surrounded by cells for monks and a tetrapillar altar in the middle, was built during the 17th and 18th centuries. It was a pilgrimage and philosophical center of Zoroastrians and Hindus from the northwestern Indian subcontinent, who were involved in trade with the Caspian area via the famous Grand Trunk Road. The four holy elements of their belief were Ateshi the fire, Bari the air, Avi the water, and Heki the earth. The temple ceased to be a place of worship after 1883 with the installation of petroleum plants at Surukhani. The complex was turned into a museum in 1975. It was abandoned in the late 19th century, probably due to the dwindling of the Hindu population in the area. The natural eternal flame went out in 1969, after nearly a century of usage of the petroleum and gas in the area, but is now lit by gas piped from the nearby city. Fuzuli Park is a stunning green space, a perfect retreat for those looking to escape the hustle and bustle of city life. Spanning a large area, the urban park boasts beautifully manicured gardens, walking paths, and plenty of seating areas where visitors can relax and enjoy the natural surroundings. Fuzuli was a 16th century Azerbaijani poet, writer, and thinker. The statue was prepared by Azerbaijani sculptors Toke Mammadov and Omar Eldarov between 1958 and 1963. For this work, the sculptors were awarded silver medals by the USSR Academy of Arts. The Free Woman is a monumental statue designed by Fuad Abdur Rahmanov and erected in 1960. The statue was inspired by Jafar Jabarli's play, named Sevi. It represents the right of Azerbaijani women to participate in the public life of the country, to receive education and work, away from criticism and oppression. The Taza Pir Mosque is a Shia Islam mosque in Baku. Its construction began in 1905 and was finished by 1914. The concept for the mosque, as well as its financing, was provided by an Azeri female philanthropist Nabat Khanum Ashurbiova. The Imam Hussein Mosque is a historical architectural monument, built in 1896 by order of philanthropist Haji Baba Hashimov. The architect of the mosque is Adolf Eichler. The Flame Towers are a group of 3 skyscrapers in Baku. The project, with a site area of approximately 28,000 meters square, consists of 3 towers standing on a common podium. While the main supporting structures of the towers were conventionally constructed of concrete, the large-scale special uses on the top floors of the towers required filigree steel structures. The height of the tallest tower is 182 meters. The 3 flame-shaped towers are intended to symbolize the elements of fire, and are a reference to Azerbaijan's nickname, the Land of Fire. The Mosque of the Martyrs, also known as the Turkish Mosque and Shahid's Mosque, is a beautiful Sunni mosque, based on Turkish architecture depicting friendship between Turkey and Azerbaijan. The Baku Turkish Martyrs Memorial is dedicated to the Ottoman soldiers killed during the World War I in Azerbaijan. Formerly known as the Kirov Park, Martyrs Lane or Alley of Martyrs, is a cemetery and memorial dedicated to those killed by the Soviet Army during Black January 1990 and in the First Nagorno-Karabakh War of 1988-1994. The Martyrs Lane site first served as a Muslim cemetery for victims of the March events of 1918. After the First World War, when the Russian Empire collapsed, fighting broke out in Baku as a result of the Russian Civil War, with 4 groups fighting for control of the area. Fighting each other were the Bolsheviks, Mensheviks, Armenians, and Azerbaijanis. Many people were killed in the fighting, including some from a small British force, sent to prevent Baku falling into the hands of the Russians. The eternal flame burning inside Shahidlar Monument honors the fallen soldiers killed by the Soviet Army during Black January, and later to those killed in Nagorno-Karabakh War. Throughout history, people from different religions have been visiting this rock. There was a tomb inside which belonged to the pre-Islamic period.